Good morning, Matthew Ward here with Ward Engineering. In this video, I am going to discuss a topic that I've been asked about quite regularly over the last 5 years or so, and that is the topic of whether or not it makes sense to buy house plans off the internet. So this is something that I get a lot of calls about. Typically, it comes about by a family considering building their family home, and in that process, maybe they visit some websites and find some house plans on the internet that they fall in love with, and they want to use that for their house plans. And not being familiar with the building departments and permit requirements and engineering and all that stuff, I get calls asking, well, should I buy them? Should I not buy them? Is it going to be a waste of my money? Is it going to be a waste of my time? What do you think? Do I need engineering for this? What is engineering? So it runs the whole gamut. And so in this video, I'm going to discuss that topic, and I'm going to give my insights on that question. And if this is something that you're considering for yourself, I hope that you get some value out of this video. Thank you for watching. In order to address the topic of whether or not it's a good idea to buy house plans on the internet, I'm going to start by laying out a typical scenario by which a family would care to even ask that question. So typically, let's start something like this. Step one being a family is going to purchase a parcel, maybe a 5, 10, 20 acre parcel. I deal primarily with parcels being sold in San Joaquin, Sacramento County, or Amador County, but I've done work all over the state. So they get their parcel, they're happy, life is good. Then they move on to step two, online house searches. So they got their parcel, and now they're looking at, okay, well, what kind of house do we want to put on it? So they'll turn to the sources that they're familiar with, things like Pinterest, houseplans.com, houseplans.net. They'll determine the things they like, they don't like, and then they'll kind of narrow it down to what they consider to be the one. Now, maybe it's something that they love everything about it. Maybe they want to change the roof, maybe colors, the walls, but they generally have an idea of what they want at this point. So in this hypothetical example here, let's say the family has fallen in love with this farm style house here, and they've gone to this house plans website here. They found the one they love, and they're now considering buying the plans for this house. So in this little example, this is a modern farmhouse. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,071 square feet. They're presented with two options on the website. Option one, buy the PDF plans for $990. Option two, buy the PDF files and the AutoCAD files for $2,115. Or they could go with the unpresented option here of option three and sleep on it and consult with a local designer. I vote for option three. Don't be in a rush to buy the plans. Don't be in a rush to buy the AutoCAD files. Sleep on it. Go talk with a professional like myself and figure out what you're in for. So at this point now, the families moved on to step three. They decided not to buy the PDF plans or the AutoCAD files. Instead, they held off and they consulted with a local designer like myself. And so now they're asking the typical questions. Should I buy the house plans online? If I buy the plans online, can they be edited? Should I hire an architect? Should I hire an engineer? How much will it cost? How long will it take? Those are all the standard questions, and those are all perfectly valid questions, which should be asked anytime anyone is thinking of buying house plans on the internet. And Harlan here, he gets mad. He says, consult with a local designer or else. And you don't want to make Harlan mad. Probably the biggest misconception that I deal with in my work is that buying house plans online will save time and money because the plans are already complete and ready for submittal. Wrong. That is 100% not true. So here with these next few slides, I'm going to give a high-level overview of the reasons for which I would recommend not buying house plans on the internet. So what we're looking at here are two screenshots. The first screenshot here is from a website that sells house plans, and the second one is a screenshot from the actual plans that were purchased from one of those websites. So I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of these statements here. What it says here, our plans are drawn to commonly accepted code standards. However, it is not uncommon for state, county, and local governments to have additional requirements that must be met in order to build a home in your area. The key word there, I would say, is must. It is a must. If you're getting a permit, the plans must comply with the county or state's requirements. Another statement here. So this screenshot here is actually taken from the plans, from a set of plans that was purchased off of this website. And right on the cover sheet of those plans, it says, these plans were designed to meet IRC 2015 at the time of their creation, and more specifically, the minimal local codes of the South Mississippi area. So if you're in California, South Mississippi is just not going to cut it for you. It is highly recommended that these plans be reviewed by a local structural engineer prior to construction, which I definitely agree with. 2. Beams and floor joists are not sized due to the many geographic locations these plans are sold. These items shall be sized by a local engineer or manufacturer. True, that must happen. It's important to understand that when you go submit for a permit, it's not only the plans that you need, you actually need a lot more than that. And those additional reports and documents that you need actually directly affect the plans themselves. So, for instance, truss design documents. When you purchase house plans on the internet, they do not come with truss design documents. That's on you. It's on you to contact a truss design company to have them design the truss docs particular for your house. And once those truss design documents are done, they need to be properly reflected in the plans. And the sheets, it's going to directly affect your roof framing plan, your foundation plan, your cross sections, and your elevations. So let's say you did make the mistake of buying house plans on the internet. Well, now you have to hire someone to modify that AutoCAD file to reflect the truss design. And that's no small undertaking. Similarly, the same is true with Title 24 energy reports. So if you're building in California, you have to have a Title 24 energy report done. And let's just say, for instance, that you made the mistake, you bought house plans on the internet, and now you had your Title 24 energy report done, and that report says that you need 2x6 wall framing, but your plans are showing 2x4 wall framing. Well, now you have to have the plans updated. You have to update the floor plan to show that you need 2x6 wall framing. And in the cross sections, you have to show 2x6 framing along with the R19 insulation. And it may even affect other things such as header sizes, because maybe the header sizes were previously 4x10s. Now they need to be 6x10s to be consistent with the size of the wall. Same is true with structural calculations. So as I read on the previous slide, the plans you purchase on the internet do not come with structural calculations. And so that's on you to have those done. And those structural calculations affect a lot. They affect the roof framing, the foundation plan, cross sections, and shear wall plan. So that's no small task either. And also the same is true with fire sprinkler requirements. So in California, most of the time you need to have fire sprinklers plans designed. And oftentimes the building department will require that those notes, some of the notes on the fire sprinkler plans, also appear on the plot plan or on the floor plan. So those are some of the big reports and documents that are required when you go get a permit that actually directly affect the plans themselves. So to kind of sum it up here, as far as the reasons to not buy house plans on the internet, as we've all heard said, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And the same thing is true with plans that require permits. You can have a set of plans that looks nice, it looks pretty to you. You might think it's good to go, but even if it's close, it's not going to cut it at the building department. Now that I've laid out the various reasons why I would advise against buying house plans on the internet, I'm going to give you some reasons and considerations for which you may consider buying house plans on the internet. So, first of all, it's important to note that there are other states and jurisdictions for which a permit is not required in order to build a house. So, for instance, one of my good friends moved out to Alabama, and for building his house, he did not need a building permit for the house. He only needed a permit for the septic system. So, in a situation like that, where you're not required to go get a permit at the building department and not required to submit those additional documents like trust design documents, Title 24, sprinkler design documents, etc., you may actually benefit quite a bit and save quite a bit of money by buying house plans off the internet. If you're in one of those jurisdictions that does not require a permit in order to build your house, I would really only advise buying the house plans on the internet and building off of them if you have a builder that's experienced and can comfortably adapt to the deviations from the plan. I would also advise for purchasing house plans and AutoCAD files off the internet when the homeowner's working with a designer that has specifically stated that the designer can benefit from the use of the AutoCAD files and offer a reduced price as a result. Now, in the vast majority of cases, most architects do not want to work in somebody else's AutoCAD file purchased off the internet for a number of reasons. And if they were presented it, they would just simply create their own file from scratch, because the amount of time and effort it takes to modify somebody else's drawing is just not worth it. It's easier to start from scratch and just redo it. Now, let's say the project is relatively small and the number of changes are very small. Well, in a situation like that, the designer may actually benefit from buying the AutoCAD file. If that's the case, then that's wonderful. I'd advise for it. But under most circumstances in California, with the complexity of the changes that would be required due to the trust design documents or Title 24 or structural calculations, it's just not worth it to buy the AutoCAD file. However, there are certain situations where maybe a permit's not needed or the changes are small for which it actually could be a good idea. I also support the idea of purchasing house plans on the internet when the client is okay with purchasing the plans, knowing that the plans will have to be recreated for permit approval. So essentially, they will be paying twice. And I've run into situations like that where the client is okay with purchasing the plans because they really like some details that are on there regarding cabinets and architectural details and finishes and stuff like that. And they want to use those as a guide, and it helps point them in the right direction and get them started with what they want to do as far as their house. Now, they did that knowing that, yes, they would also have to turn to a local architect or engineer to create them permit-ready plans. And since they were okay with that and they had the funding for it, they had no problem with it at all. And purchasing the plans on the internet actually helped out because it gave a clear direction to work with as far as what they wanted their end product to be. Now I'm going to share with you what I consider to be a much better alternative to just simply buying house plans off the internet. Here at Ward Engineering, we are offering permit-ready packages for houses, ADUs, garages, and pavilions. The permit-ready packages are available for review at the digital store on the Ward Engineering website. All of the projects have been designed, permitted, and constructed in Northern California within the last 4 years. As I mentioned previously, when you purchase house plans on the internet, the plans do not come with all of the documents that are required for you to obtain a permit. The great thing about the packages that we're offering is that they come complete with the project plans, structural calculations, trust design documents, and Title 24 energy documents, which are all necessary to submit for a permit in California. This here is the Ward Engineering digital store. You can get there by going to wardeng.net and clicking on digital store. Currently, we are offering 8 houses as permit-ready packages. You can come to house plans and take a look at the houses that we're offering. For instance, we'll take a look at the Juniper. This house is a 2,686 square foot, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, farm-style home with front and rear covered porches. We are offering these plans two different ways. The generic PDF plans can be purchased for $1,250, or the permit ready package comprised of the plans, structural calculations, trust design documents, and Title 24 documents can be purchased for $12,500. The permit ready packages can be made available in as little as 60 days, which is a significant time savings over the typical time frame for one-off custom home designs, which can often take over a year. If you're in need of house plans for your project, I want to encourage you to come check out the house plans that we're offering in our digital store. You'll find that the permit ready house plan packages offer a significant cost savings and time savings over conventional one-off custom home designs. If you have any questions or want to learn more about a particular home, just click the Contact Us button, fill out the form, and we'll get in touch with you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you got some value out of this video. Thank you. Bye.